right? So when we look at what they're going through as ex-slave, so you're out of slavery now, so you go from the owned side to the free side, right? No different than somebody who says, "Oh, proclaim my nationality, I'm no longer a straw man, I'm national," and then they start living from that perspective, regardless of what, they come up against or whatever, right? Same process, right? And then we bring the Muhammad Ali in, and we bring the El Hajj in, we bring, Michael in, Mikael, right? Bring Yasin Bey. There's multiple people that we could bring to show that the slave realized, hold on a second, I can't have this name because this name doesn't, okay, well, it's a process, so I'm not going to get rid of the name, but let me start dressing like somebody free. Let me start talking. Let me start reading this stuff. How is ex-slave talking like that? Like what? At what point did the individual who was enslaved start learning? Because if they're talking constitutional as ex-slaves, then they would have had to have that information while they were even in slavery. They didn't come out of slavery and then get this info. They had to have already had these concepts already while they were enslaved. And then it comes back again, where did they get it from? Slaves passed this down, that there's a constitution and all that? That they're going to speak up for it? Right, another one. Samuel H. Davis. Samuel H. Davis. We must assert our rightful claims and plead our own cause. We must assert our rightful claims and plead our own cause. There's the brother there, the uncle, the elder. All right. Gentlemen, on behalf of my fellow citizens of Buffalo, I bid you welcome from east and west, the north and south to our city. Among you are the men who are lately from that part of our country where they see our brethren bound and manacled, suffering and bleeding, under the hand of the tyrant who holds in one hand the Constitution of the United States, which guarantees freedom and equal rights to every citizen, and in the other, the scourge dripping with gore, drawn from the veins of his fellow man. Here also are those who live in my native New England, along the descendants of the Pilgrims, whose laws are more in accord with the principles of freedom and equal rights, so that but few laws are found recorded on their statute books of which we need complain. But though their laws are not marked with such palpable and flagrant injustice toward the colored man as those in the South, yet there we are proscribed by a fixed and cruel prejudice little less oppressive. Our grievances are many and great, but it is not my intention to enumerate or to enlarge upon them. I will simply say, however, that we wish to secure for ourselves, in common with other citizens, the privilege of seeking our own happiness in any part of the country we may choose, which right is now unjustly, and we believe unconstitutionally, denied us in a part of this union. It's a black guy talking. Right? Black guy talking. We wish also to secure the elective franchise in those states where it is denied us, where our rights are legislated away, and our voice neither heard nor regarded. We also wish to secure for our children especially the benefits of education, which in several states are entirely denied us, and in others are enjoyed only in name. These and many other things of which we justly complain bear most heavily upon us as a people, and it is our right and our duty to seek for redress in that way which will be most likely to secure the desired end. We must assert our rightful claims and plead our own cause. Our people got caught up in pleading causes and not making a rightful claim, which is what they should be doing instead of playing around. Now, just so you know, because I could hear y'all, where's the sisters at? I can hear y'all, so let me give y'all something right now. Let me give y'all something. Because I can hear y'all. Don't worry. I got something for y'all. Sisters. Sister Frances Ellen Watkins. Frances Ellen Watkins, born of free parents in Baltimore, 1825. Right? 1825. Frances Ellen Watkins. Okay? Born of free parents, Baltimore. Full-time abolitionist speaker for the Maine Anti-Slavery Society. You can look that up. The Maine Anti-Slavery Society. Just so, you know, we're just going to look it up just to see what people who were classified as black, who were classified as free people of color and free blacks and whatever, what kind of concepts did they have when they were free? When they realized that they're free, where was their mindset at? Everybody's talking about self-sufficiency. Everybody's talking about we're native. Everybody's talking about this is our nation, this is our country, and Negro, black, colored, and even some Moors today playing like this is some fake stuff that we're making up. When even in the slave story, they were constitutional and wanted their constitutional rights to be secured. Not their civil rights to be secured. Not their slave anything to be secured. Their constitutional rights to be secured. Let's just see what sis knows. Let's see what sis knows. Right, let's see what's really good with the mothers. Because we heard from the sons. Let's see what the mothers have to say. Actually, we'll read this one. Liberty for slaves. Could we trace the record of every human heart, the aspirations of every immortal soul? Perhaps we could find no man so imbruted and degraded that we could not trace the word liberty either written in living characters upon the soul or hidden away in some nook or corner of the heart. The law of liberty is the law of God and is ascendant to all human legislation. It existed in the mind of deity when he hung the first world upon its orbit. The law of liberty is the law of God and is ascendant to all human legislation. It existed in the mind of deity when he hung the first world upon its orbit and gave it liberty to gather light from the central sun. Some people say, set the slaves free. Did you ever think if the slaves were free, they would steal everything they could lay their hands on from now till the day of their death? That they would steal more than 2,000 millions of dollars. Ask Maryland, when her tens of thousands of slaves, if she is not prepared for freedom, and hear her answer, I help supply the coffee gangs of the South. Ask Virginia, with her hundreds of thousands of slaves, if she is not weary with her merchandise of blood and anxious to shake off the gory traffic from her hands, and hear her reply, though fertility has covered my soil, though a genial sky bends over my hills and vales, though I hold in my hand a wealth of water power enough to turn the spindles to cloth the world, yet with all these advantages on my chief staples has been the sons and daughters I sent to the human market and human shambles. Ask the farther south, and all the cotton growing states chime in. We have a need of fresh supplies to fill the ranks of those whose lives have gone out to unrequited toil on our distant plantations. 100,000 newborn babes are annually added to the victims of slavery. 20,000 lives are annually sacrificed on plantations of the South. Such a sight should send a thrill of horror through the nerves of civilization and impel the heart of humanity to lofty deeds. So it might if men had not found out a fearful alchemy by which this blood can be transformed into gold. Instead of listening to the cry of agony, they listen to the ring of dollars and stoop down to pick up the coin, not the money. But a few months since a man escaped from bondage and found a temporary shelter almost beneath the shadow of Bunker Hill. Had that man stood upon the deck of an Austrian ship beneath the shadow of the house of the Habsburgs, he would have found protection. He had been wrecked upon an island or colony of Great Britain, the waves of tempest-lashed ocean would have washed him deliverance. He had landed upon the territory of vine-encircled France, and a Frenchman had reduced him to a thing and brought him here beneath the protection of our institutions and our laws. For such a nefarious deed, that Frenchman would have lost his citizenship in France. Beneath the feebler light which glimmers from the Quran, the Bey of Tunis would have granted him freedom in his own dominions. Beside the ancient pyramids of Egypt, he would have found liberty, for the soil laved by the glorious Nile is now consecrated to freedom. But from Boston Harbor, made memorable by the infusion of 3 penny tax tea, Boston in its proximity to the plains of Lexington and Concord, Boston almost beneath the shadow of Bunker Hill, and almost in sight of Plymouth Rock, he thrust back from liberty and manhood and reconverted into a shadow.